Greetings once again, my fellow expressions of consciousness. When will I have my enlightenment experience? When will I wake up? When will I see through the illusion? When will this no longer become mental only? Common question on this path in spirituality, in awakening. The short answer is never. Never. It will never happen to you. But guess what? There's a longer answer too. But why do I say never? I say never because the one who wants to awaken isn't the one whose attention you should be focused upon, i.e., your character, your personality, who you refer to when you say I, me, I'm hungry. That person is not even supposed to awaken. That person is supposed to be asleep. That person needs to be asleep. Yes, there's an aspect of you that needs to be asleep. It should never ever awaken. And guess what? It cannot awaken. It doesn't have that capability. I'm talking about the ego. The ego does its job perfectly. If the ego had an awakening, you would actually disappear. There would be no you. Literally, you would not be able to perceive reality because the ego gives you that contrast of there being experience taking place because you have this idea that there's a you and an external world. Take the ego out the way, then there's just pure infinity, which is what you perceive in deep sleep. There's no you in deep sleep, right? So we need that character. It shouldn't awaken unless we're trying to sleep, but that's more of a dissolving into itself, the source. So that's what doesn't awaken. The ego does not awaken. The ego gets to be seen from a different vantage point, from a deeper part of you. I'm not going to call it super ego or anything like that, just a deeper aspect of what you are. When I say you, take it as in the whole of the universe. When I'm talking about you, when I say you, take it as if I'm saying the whole of the universe. But trying to think of it from the perspective of that personality, that personhood, seeing stars, seeing rocks, not that type of universe, because then you're seeing distance and it just seems too vast. But distance itself, again, can be whittled down to that of an illusion too. Because how far is the distance between your face and the moon? 256,000 miles? Okay. How far is the distance between your perception of the moon and you? How far is the distance between the device you're looking at and your face? Okay. Now, how far is the distance of the experience that is taking place right now and you? You see, the so-called distance of experience is non-existent, as you know. It's just now. It's just innate. You can't find it anywhere in you. It's just experience, right? It's just happening. There's no distance. You don't have to walk to find experience from a non-experienced place. You're always experiencing something, including the lack of objective experience in so-called deep sleep. Experience is constant. That observer, or the substance of experience, which includes the observer, That's what you are. You are all of that. Try not to see it in this separate perspective. So, of course, you yourself are not close to the moon, as in your body, but that's the 3D dimensional way of thinking, which is necessary to experience reality in a certain way, of course. So, when I say you, as in you are the universe, take that as the deepest aspect of you as being the universe, because there is no separation between that deepest aspect of you and whatever you perceive, which of course includes the universe. There's a possibility to perceive from that deeper place, and that's what awakening is. It's perceiving somehow. No one can tell you how. It's just, well, I can tell you what happened with me, at least. So it is possible to perceive very clearly that you are not your ego, you are not your body, without any drugs. That everything truly is one, that we are all actors, that there is nothing called time in actuality, that there's nothing physical in actuality. It is possible. Now, from my side, what I did was what I help you guys with, which is self-inquiry. I did it hardcore. I've said this many times. I did it hardcore for a year. It wasn't like, oh, I need to do it for a year. I just kept on doing it. And then it was a year later that I had my awakening. That changed me forever. I saw that everything is God. It's not a joke. People think it's a joke. It's not a joke. The more seriously you take yourself to be, the further away you are from God. And that includes making God a person. Only the mind creates limitations. You want to put a limit on God? Say it has attributes. Say it will judge you. But do you know what you are? If you're non-physical, how can that feel pain? How can that be judged? Where are you? What is it that will be judged? The body? The body is nothing without the mind. The mind? Find the mind. It's non-physical. It's consciousness. Where is consciousness? Consciousness, by definition, is not the body. It's not bounded by the body. Where could it burn? Try and burn consciousness. Burn a thought. My friends, you are so safe. So yes, there's no time when one could say the awakening happens, but I believe the more you come to understand mentally, the easier it is for you to make a foundation upon which the veil can be lifted from your eyes. And you never know when it could be. So if you want it, I suggest keep watching my videos, but also keep doing a self-inquiry, and most importantly, try not to stress too much about it. But at the same time, if you do stress about it, that's fine too, actually. If you really, really want it, that's fine too. That's your choice though. But I suggest don't stress about it. But again, it's your choice. Again, when you have this awakening, you come to see that there is no should. Who am I to tell you what to do? I'm not going to say you shouldn't stress. I don't know your life. But I just, from an egoic perspective, I suggest stress won't help because it reduces you to that of a being that lacks wholeness when you are already that wholeness, perceiving lack as a perception of the whole infinite perceptions that exist. In summary, don't believe that it's your personhood that needs to awaken. Your ego is perfectly fine and necessary. When awakening happens, you actually come to see that you've never been your ego anyway, and you've never been trying to awaken. You've always been watching the one that's been trying to awaken, thinking that it could awaken, that we call the ego. And that becomes funny. It's like, oh, I was never that anyway. I was just watching this movie of this guy, this girl trying to awaken. And ultimately, know that you are already that pure, infinite consciousness. You're already whole. Peace once again, my fellow expressions of consciousness.